You wake before the sun. Not because you want to, because the day will punish you if you don't. The air inside your house is cold and damp. Smoke from last night's fire still hangs low, stinging your eyes. The floor beneath your feet is packed earth, hardened by years of bare skin and spilled grain. Somewhere in the darkness, a pig shifts. Chickens rustle. Their warmth matters more than your comfort. This is your home. It is a single room. It holds your family. It holds your animals. It holds your entire life. There is no privacy here, no silence, no sense that the world outside is kind or waiting for you. You eat before you work, not because you're hungry, but because you must. The bread is coarse and dark, made from barley or rye. It tastes sour, sometimes bitter. You chew slowly, knowing this may be most of what you eat today. You drink water drawn from a nearby stream or well. You do not know it is dangerous. You only know that sometimes, after drinking it, people become very sick. This is early medieval England, and if you are here, truly here, there is one thing you must understand immediately. This world does not care if you survive. Before we talk about work, hunger, or death, there is something more important. To survive here, you must know who you are allowed to be, because your place in this world is decided long before you ever take your first breath. You did not choose this life, it chose you. In early medieval England, society is rigid, layered, and unforgiving. Power flows downward, labor flows upward, and almost everyone exists at the bottom. Roughly 8 or 9 people out of every 10 are peasants. Of those, the majority are serfs. That is what you are. A serf is not a slave, but do not confuse that with freedom. You are legally bound to the land you work, not to a person, but to an estate, the fields, the pastures, the woods. They own you as surely as chains would, even if no one calls it that. You cannot leave without permission. You cannot sell your labor elsewhere. You cannot decide to start over in another village. If you run, you are hunted and returned. Your name is written into manorial records. Your obligations are inherited. If your father was a serf, you are a serf. If you have children, they will be too. This is not temporary. This is permanent. From the outside, the system appears stable. The Lord owns the land. The church owns your soul. You work, and in return, you are protected. But protection is conditional. You owe labor several days a week on the Lord's land. This is not optional. You owe rent in produce. You owe seasonal taxes. You owe extra labor during harvest, whether your body can manage it or not. Miss these obligations, and punishment follows. There is no appeal court, no contract to renegotiate, no safety net. The system survives because you have no alternative. Now that you understand who you are, the next question becomes unavoidable. What does this life actually demand from your body every single day? Your work begins at dawn, not at a comfortable sunrise, at first light, when the air still bites and your muscles are stiff from yesterday's labor. The agricultural year governs everything. Your calendar is not weeks or months. It is tasks. Plowing in spring, sowing seed, weeding, harvesting in summer, threshing grain, preparing fields again. You work with tools that would feel primitive even to someone a few centuries later. Wooden plows tipped with iron, sickles that dull quickly. No machines, no animals strong enough to replace you. When the weather turns bad, work does not stop. Rain soaks your clothes. Cold cracks your skin. Heat drains your strength. In winter, there is still work. repairing fences, tending animals, hauling firewood. Your body never fully rests. Injuries heal slowly, if at all. Broken bones often heal wrong. Infections spread. A cut can kill you. Many men in their 30s already walk like old people. We know this from skeletons. Archaeologists, examining early medieval remains, find worn joints, compressed spines, healed fractures, and signs of chronic malnutrition. Bodies shaped by work that began in childhood and never stopped. This is not heroic labor. It is survival labor. All of this work has one purpose. Not wealth, not comfort. Just enough food to keep going. But food here is a fragile promise. Your diet is painfully narrow. Most days you eat bread, coarse, dense, and dark. It is made from barley or rye, sometimes mixed with whatever grain was cheapest that year. Alongside it, a thin porridge. Vegetables help if your small garden produces enough. Beans, peas, onions. Occasionally, cabbage. Meat is rare, not because animals are scarce, but because hunting is forbidden. Forests belong to the nobility. Killing deer or boar without permission is a serious crime. Even gathering fallen wood can bring punishment. If you are caught poaching, the penalty may be fines, mutilation, or worse. So meat is saved for feast days, if your lord allows it, or for moments of desperation that risk everything. You do not starve every day. But hunger is constant. Even in good years, the diet lacks protein and essential nutrients. In bad years, it becomes deadly. One bad harvest can mean famine. 2 in a row can empty villages. No details needed. Everyone understood what that meant. But even if you manage to eat, there is another daily gamble you cannot avoid. You drink water every day, and every day you risk disease. Rivers serve multiple purposes: drinking, washing, dumping waste. Wells are shallow and easily contaminated. Animal waste, human waste, decay. It all seeps into the same sources. There is no understanding of bacteria. When sickness comes, it feels random. Dysentery spreads fast. Typhoid lingers. Fevers burn through households. Dehydration kills children quickly. Adults last longer, sometimes long enough to infect everyone else. Even monasteries, often cleaner than villages, suffer outbreaks. There is no cure, only prayer, rest, and hope. And when the day finally ends and you return home, there is no true relief waiting for you, because your house, like everything else, carries its own dangers. Your house is built quickly, cheaply, and close to others. Wattle and daub walls, wooden frames, thatch roofs. Fire is always nearby, and always dangerous. There is no chimney. Smoke escapes where it can. Your lungs pay the price. Animals sleep inside with you in winter. Their warmth keeps you alive. Their waste fills the air. Fleas thrive. Lice are common. Rats move freely. Overcrowding spreads disease. Parasites weaken already tired bodies. Your home protects you from rain and wind. It does not protect you from illness. By now you may be wondering, how long can anyone live like this? The answer depends on when you are born and whether you survive childhood at all. You may hear this number, 30 to 35 years. It sounds shockingly low, but it hides the truth. Around 1/3 of children die before the age of 5. If you survive childhood, your chances improve. Some people live into their 40s, 50s, even older. But death is never distant. An infection, a bad winter, an accident in the fields. Life is fragile, and sometimes death comes from a source no one understands at all. Poison. The next danger is invisible, misunderstood, and terrifying when it strikes. You've learned how you live. Now you need to understand how easily it can end. In early medieval England, death is not rare. It is not dramatic. It is ordinary. It comes quietly, often without explanation, and when it does, there is no one who can truly stop it. There is something killing people in this world. No one is trying to poison anyone, no enemies, no plots. And yet, people sicken, their minds break, their bodies fail. The cause is hidden in plain sight. In wet years, a fungus grows on rye. It looks harmless at first, dark growths replacing healthy grain. When ground into flour, it disappears entirely. Bread looks normal. It tastes normal. Then the sickness begins. Hands cramp, muscles seize, people scream in pain. Some convulse uncontrollably, some hallucinate. Some feel an intense burning in their limbs, as if they are on fire from the inside. Villagers say God is punishing them. Priests preach repentance. But the real cause is the bread they eat every day. Entire communities can be affected at once. The symptoms are so violent that outbreaks sometimes look like madness spreading through a village. In extreme cases, blood flow to hands and feet is cut off. Flesh turns black. Fingers and toes fall away. People survive this. Many don't. They never know why. Poison does not only affect the poor. The wealthy drink wine stored in lead-glazed pottery. They eat food prepared in lead-lined vessels. They use lead pipes to carry water. The poisoning is slow. Headaches, confusion, memory loss, mood changes. Over time, it damages the brain and body. No one connects the dots. The materials used to show status and refinement are quietly killing the people who can afford them. Poison alone would be enough. But in this world, it rarely comes alone, because disease is everywhere, and it preys most cruelly on the youngest. If you are born in early medieval England, survival is not guaranteed. It is a gamble. Roughly 1 out of every 3 children dies before the age of 5. Some never survive infancy. Infections spread quickly. Malnutrition weakens small bodies. Waterborne diseases strike without warning. There are no antibiotics, no vaccines, no understanding of why one child lives and another dies. Parents expect loss, not because they do not love their children, but because experience has taught them that hope can be dangerous. Measles, whooping cough, respiratory infections. In a crowded home, once one child falls ill, others follow. Fever burns through bodies already weakened by hunger. Dehydration kills faster than the illness itself. Burials are common. Grief is constant, but rarely spoken aloud. Life must continue. Fields still need work. Food still needs growing. If you survive childhood, you might believe the worst is behind you. It isn't. Because now your survival depends not just on your body, but on forces you cannot control. Faith, law, power. Religion shapes every part of this world. The Church explains suffering. It defines morality. It promises meaning where none is visible. Illness is a test. Famine is a warning. Death is God's will. This belief comforts people, but it also controls them. Because if suffering is divinely ordained, questioning the system becomes sinful. The Church does not need soldiers. It has belief. Many actions are not just crimes. They are sins. Theft, disobedience, sex outside marriage, questioning authority. Breaking the rules is not only illegal, it risks eternal punishment. This mindset reinforces obedience, not because people are stupid, because they are afraid. and fear becomes absolute when belief merges with law. Because justice here is not about evidence, it is about divine judgment. Justice in early medieval England is public and brutal. Punishments are meant to be seen: stocks in village squares, branding with hot iron, mutilation. The body becomes a warning to others. But the most terrifying aspect of justice is something else. Trial by ordeal. If you are accused of a serious crime, guilt is not decided by witnesses or investigation. It is decided by God. You may be forced to carry a red-hot iron, reach into boiling water, be thrown into a river. Your wounds are inspected days later. If they heal cleanly, you are innocent. If they fester, you are guilty. If you drown, God judged you innocent. This is not metaphor. This is law. In theory, the law applies to everyone. In reality, it does not. The wealthy can pay fines. The powerful can negotiate. The poor endure punishment. Justice is another tool of control. By now, the dangers should feel overwhelming. But there is one final threat that dwarfs all others, because it destroys not just individuals, but entire communities. War. War is not a rare disaster in early medieval England. It is expected. You do not choose it. When your lord calls, you go, not because you are trained, but because refusal is a crime. You leave your fields, your animals, your family. You are not a soldier. You are a farmer handed a spear. There is no armor, no preparation, no promise you will return. Even if you survive, the damage is already done. Your crops rot while you are gone. Your family struggles without you. And sometimes war does not come from nearby lords. It comes from the sea. No warning. Ships appear. Villages scatter. Food taken. Animals stolen. Homes burned. People carried away. When the raiders leave, they take the future with them. Fields go unplanted. Hunger follows. Some villages never recover. They are abandoned, erased. This is the truth about war in this world. It does not need to kill you to destroy your life. Sometimes it only needs to pass through once. By now, you understand how dangerous life is in early medieval England: hunger, disease, violence, poison. But not everyone faces this world the same way. If you are born a woman, survival becomes narrower from the very start. Your place is decided before you can speak. Religion says it is natural. Law enforces it. Custom repeats it until no one questions it. You are taught that obedience is virtue, that suffering has meaning, that Eve's mistake explains your position in the world. And questioning this is not rebellion, it is sin. Your world is small, mostly indoors, mostly unseen. You cook, you clean, you spin wool until your fingers split. You care for children who may not survive the year. You tend animals. You work the fields when labor is short. Without your work, households collapse. Without households, the estate fails. And still, you remain subordinate. Marriage is not romance. It is arrangement. You marry young, often in your teens. Not because you are ready, but because labor is needed. Land must be worked. Children must come. Once married, your identity merges with your husband's. Property is his. Decisions are his. Leaving is not an option. But none of this is the greatest danger. That comes later, because childbirth is not an event here. It is a gamble. There are no doctors, no antiseptics, no understanding of infection, only midwives, experience, and prayer. Some women survive again and again. Others die the first time. And no amount of obedience protects you. This is what survival looks like if you are born female in this world. not heroism, not tragedy. Endurance until it ends. And yet, this world does not collapse. It should. By every modern measure, it should. But it doesn't, because people bend. They lower their expectations until survival itself becomes success. Living past 40 is a victory. Seeing a child reach adulthood feels miraculous. Hope here is not about progress. There is no belief that life will get easier. Hope is smaller than that. A harvest that doesn't fail. A winter that doesn't kill. A child who wakes up healthy. These moments are enough to keep going. And that is the truth people miss when they look back and ask, how did anyone survive like this? They didn't survive because life was kind. They survived because they adapted to cruelty. They endured. Not because the world cared, but because stopping meant disappearing. So, when you imagine early medieval England, don't picture castles and kings. Picture ordinary people waking before the sun, working bodies already worn down, living in a world that offered no safety, and choosing every day not to vanish. That is early medieval England, not a heroic age, not a romantic one, a world that did not want you to live, and the people who lived in it anyway. If you want to keep walking through worlds like this, lost societies, forgotten lives, and history as it was actually lived, subscribe to Worlds Before Us and tell me in the comments, could you have survived this world? Because the next place we rebuild may be even harsher.